Hello there, everybody. I hope you've all had a wonderful work week. So are you watching the Olympics? And if you're watching the Olympics, have you noticed how much marketing, sponsorship, branding, it's everywhere, and it is complex. When it comes to the Olympics and all of the athletes, well, they generally wear the branded apparel that the sponsor of that sport provides. That is unless, in some cases, you're a superstar that has a competing sponsorship. For example, Nike is one of the official apparel brands for all of the athletes, and especially the USA basketball team, but star Steph Curry, well, he's got to deal with Under Armour and therefore doesn't wear Nike on the court. And there was even a bit of controversy on the USA basketball team about how much input Nike actually had into who would be playing. So sponsoring Olympic athletes, well, it's a competitive sport, and it is big money reserved for the biggest of brands. But leading up to the Olympics, there are all kinds of unsponsored athletes that are competing for a spot on the team. Who knows who the next Simone Biles or Trinity Rodman or Katie Ledecky will be? Well, one brand came up with a brilliant solution in a marketing campaign that has quietly brought worldwide awareness to a very small sports apparel brand. And there are lessons in here for all of us as small brand marketers. You want to know more? Well, let's tie up our laces, line up at the starting block, and this is a few minutes of what's new in marketing that might help you lead your business's strategy. Let's roll. Hello, everybody. Robert Rose here with What's New in Marketing. It is about what's new in marketing, but most importantly, it's something important that we saw in marketing that we think may help you become a better leader. And if we can help you or your team with content marketing services, including custom training or consultation or ongoing implementation of your content marketing approach, get on over to contentmarketinginstitute.com, fill out that form, let's set up a Zoom call, and let's talk about it. So marketing and brand awareness are big businesses at the Olympics, and the games currently going on in Paris are no exception. Brands all over the world are supporting various teams, and it's certainly a complex investment strategy for brands to try and figure out, well, which teams, which individuals, which sports to sponsor to get the most bang for their big bucks. Now, total numbers are really hard to find, but one article has said that just Team USA have already targeted a $2.5 billion corporate sponsorship goal for the Los Angeles Olympics in 2028. So as you might expect, this is really an arena only for the biggest brands in the world and their fat wallets. But one small brand has done something really quite remarkable in the face of this complex competition. For the second year in a row, Bandits, a small running apparel brand, conducted what it called its unsponsored project. And it's a great example of how when marketing solves a real and actual problem, it can provide tremendous value for everybody involved. Here's the problem that Bandits recognized. In leading up to the Olympics, and especially in track and field, there are a number of qualifying events who will join the Olympic team in the U.S. Now, one of those, for example, is the U.S. Outdoor National Track and Field Championships. So many of the stars, of course, and previous Olympic athletes, well, they're sponsored by the big name brands and they'll wear their gear for the trials. However, there are also a number of athletes who are new, who are unsponsored, and have a difficult choice. They can wear a big brand, ostensibly giving them free advertising and possibly removing any leverage in a negotiation if they do happen to do very well or make the team. Or they can wear no logos at all and kind of remain unsponsored and perhaps, well, unnoticed. So Bandit, way too small to sponsor the big name stars or make a bet on any one particular athlete, they did something really interesting. They supported 35 of the unsponsored athletes in the trial and dressed them all in the same black, logoless, unbranded outfits. The clothing is made exclusively for the athletes, not for sale to the public, and the brand also gave the athletes money for flights and hotel and meals during the duration of the qualifying trials. Now here's the kicker. In their sponsorship clause, there's an opt-out feature that allows the athletes to leave the deal whenever they want. So if they win or make the team, they can negotiate with whoever they want. The campaign has been a huge success for Bandits, and they've measured it with press, awareness of the brand, impressions, all kinds of shared media, including social media. As the CEO said, they're sure they'll see financial and revenue benefits down the road, but for now, it is about awareness. And wonderfully, here's the punchline, the brand now has a presence at the actual Olympic Games. See, apparently an Olympic advisor reached out to Bandits saying that the sponsor for Team St. Vincent and the Grenadines in this year's Paris Games, well, they backed out, and Bandit was invited to become their sponsor. And now this very small little sports apparel brand is at the Olympic Games. Such a great way of a tiny company figuring out how to compete on a huge stage with companies 100 times their size. So what's the takeaway and the lesson for all of us? Well, if you're a smaller brand or a challenger brand, you're probably in a situation where you can't outspend your competition, you can't outrank your competition, and getting brand recognition, well, it's just really, really hard. What you can do, however, is you can be deeper, you can be more trustworthy, you can be more valuable, you can be more innovative, and you can just be better than your competition because you can. Bandit's discovered a way to get into the big leagues by figuring out a way to spread a marketing investment on a wide array of the small leagues. Those athletes will remember for sure that Bandit solved a problem for them, but even more importantly, everybody, consumers, people, the press, they want to know who did that? What's going on there? Who solved that problem? Sometimes, as Bandit's discovered, that can mean solving a bigger problem or a different problem than you normally would think associated with a brand like yours. Give me another example. I remember back in the day when I was the CMO of a small software company, tiny little software company. We were software as a service or cloud computing in the early 2000s where no one knew what those words meant. We were cloud before cloud was cool. And our product, well, our entire company was all about one very small niche of that area, which was web content management. And we were competing against companies 1,000 times our size. Companies like Microsoft and Oracle and Hewlett-Packard and Adobe. I mean, they all had competing products. And what worked for us was not to try and go head-to-head to sell them on web content management features. Our main job as marketers was to sell a better idea of delivering software as a service or cloud computing. In other words, we were selling the story of cloud computing because it was bigger. It was a bigger story than just us. Because if we could sell people on that, then convincing them that we'd be good to handle a very small part of that, their web content management solution, that would be a key differentiation for us. We basically didn't play the product versus product game. We played the entire new idea game and built trust on that foundation. So we can learn from Bandit, and with no pun intended at all, how they stole the attention away from the biggest competitors, not by being better at the existing game, but by inventing a new one. And that's a few minutes of what's new in marketing. Remember, it's your story to tell. Go find a bigger one, and then tell it well. I'll see you next week.